Welcome to Bills Nation Daily, your ultimate daily dose of everything Buffalo Bills. Hit that subscribe button and join the most passionate Bills fans as we break down all the latest news, highlights, and game analysis. Go Bills! The statement attributed to Josh Allen has been echoing through fan circles like a thunderclap, the kind of phrase that instantly shifts the emotional temperature of an entire franchise. Because when a quarterback of his stature even hints at an ultimatum, people stop scrolling and start leaning closer to the screen. The rumor says that behind closed doors, in conversations never meant to reach the public, Allen let his frustration spill over when discussing the possibility of a controversial arrival in Buffalo. According to whispers, this is not about a minor roster tweak or a depth signing, but about a name heavy enough to challenge the identity of the team itself. When Allen is quoted saying that if this player comes to the Bills, he would walk away, it paints a picture of tension that goes far beyond football tactics. It suggests pride, leadership, and a line in the sand being drawn by the face of the franchise. Fans are trying to read between the lines, wondering if this is about control of the locker room, offensive philosophy, or simply personal chemistry. The idea that a franchise quarterback would even consider leaving, even as a hypothetical, has fueled endless speculation because it implies a clash of visions. In the storytelling tone that dominates sports YouTube, this is the kind of rumor that feels cinematic, a potential turning point where loyalty, ego, and ambition collide in a way that could redefine the future of the Bills. What makes this rumor even more gripping is how it taps into the unspoken power dynamics of the league, where star quarterbacks are not just players, but political forces within their organizations. Josh Allen has been seen as the embodiment of Buffalo's resurgence, the symbol of belief after years of uncertainty, and that makes this alleged stance feel deeply personal. The speculation suggests that Allen views the potential incoming figure as someone who could undermine what has been built, not necessarily on the field, but in the culture of the team. Some voices say it could be a veteran with a massive personality, someone who demands attention and changes how offenses are structured. Others whisper about philosophical differences, a system or style that Allen feels would restrict his instincts and creativity. In this speculative narrative, Allen's reported comment becomes less about a threat and more about a warning, a dramatic way to say that certain compromises are unacceptable. For a YouTube storyteller, this is gold because it frames Allen not as a diva, but as a guardian of identity. The rumor thrives because it aligns with the idea of a quarterback who knows his worth and understands that sometimes leadership means drawing hard boundaries. Whether true or exaggerated, the story feeds into a larger mythos around franchise stars and the quiet battles that shape teams long before fans see anything on the field. As the rumor spreads, it has taken on layers, with each retelling adding a bit more drama and interpretation, exactly the way sports narratives tend to evolve online. Some speculate that Allen's comment was not shouted or emotional, but calm and deliberate, which somehow makes it even more powerful. In this version, he is portrayed as someone who sat across from decision-makers and made his stance clear without theatrics. The phrase about leaving if that player arrives is imagined as a last resort, not a bluff, and that is what sends chills through the fan base. The Bills are seen as standing at a crossroads, caught between making a bold move that could shake up the roster and respecting the wishes of the player who has become the heart of the franchise. This rumor also opens the door to debates about how much influence a quarterback should have. Is it healthy for a player to wield that level of power, or is it simply the reality of modern football? In the YouTube style of narration, this becomes a morality play, with Allen cast as both hero and potential disruptor. The speculation does not claim certainty, but it thrives on possibility, inviting viewers to imagine boardroom conversations, tense phone calls, and a future that could swing in wildly different directions depending on one controversial decision. Another angle fueling the buzz is the idea that this rumored ultimatum reflects deeper frustrations that have been quietly building over time. In speculative terms, some fans believe Allen may feel that the organization has flirted too often with ideas that do not fully align with his strengths. The potential arrival of this unnamed figure becomes symbolic, representing a breaking point rather than an isolated issue. In this narrative, Allen's words are the culmination of private disagreements about how the offense should evolve and who should be prioritized in high-pressure moments. The rumor suggests that Allen is not afraid of competition, but he is wary of chaos, of changes that could dilute the trust and rhythm he relies on. For a YouTube storyteller, this is where the emotional hook really sinks in, because it paints a picture of a leader fighting to protect his environment. The Bills, in the speculative lens, are not just making roster decisions, they're choosing which vision of the future to embrace. Allen's alleged stance forces everyone to confront uncomfortable questions about loyalty, leverage, and the fragile balance between star power and organizational authority. Whether exaggerated or not, the rumor resonates because it feels plausible in a league where relationships are just as important as playbooks. The fan reaction, at least in the imagined space of this rumor, has been split in fascinating ways, adding fuel to the narrative fire. Some supporters rally behind Allen without hesitation, arguing that if he feels strongly enough to issue such a statement, then management should listen. They see him as the constant in a league of constant change, the one figure worth building around at all costs. Others, however, feel uneasy, worried about the precedent this sets, and questioning whether any player should hold the franchise hostage to personal preferences. In the YouTube style of commentary, this divide becomes a dramatic talking point, a way to engage viewers emotionally by asking them to pick a side. The rumor thrives on this tension because it is not just about whether the statement is true, but about what it represents. It turns into a referendum on leadership, trust, and the modern dynamics of professional football. The unnamed potential arrival becomes almost irrelevant, a shadowy figure whose main role is to expose underlying cracks. In this speculative story, every reaction, every hot take, and every emotional response adds another layer, making the rumor feel bigger and more consequential with each passing conversation. As the first part of this imagined saga settles, what lingers most is the sense that this is not a simple yes or no situation, but a complex emotional chess match. The alleged words from Allen hang in the air like a challenge, forcing the organization to weigh short-term ambition against long-term stability. In the YouTube narrative voice, this is framed as a moment that could define legacies, not just seasons. Allen is depicted as standing at the center of the storm, calm but resolute, fully aware of the ripple effect his stance could create. The rumor does not claim to know what will happen next, and that uncertainty is exactly what makes it compelling. It invites endless speculation, endless commentary, and endless replays of the quote that started it all. Whether it is truth, exaggeration, or strategic posturing, the story captures the imagination because it feels like the opening chapter of something much larger. For now, it exists in that gray area where rumors live, powerful enough to spark debate, but elusive enough to keep everyone guessing about how real the threat truly is. In the second part of this speculative narrative, the focus shifts toward what such a rumored ultimatum could mean behind the scenes, where decisions are rarely as straightforward as fans imagine. The idea that Josh Allen would consider walking away forces observers to imagine intense internal discussions, filled with conflicting priorities and carefully chosen words. In this version of events, executives are portrayed as weighing spreadsheets and scouting reports while also considering the emotional weight of potentially alienating their star quarterback. The rumored incoming figure becomes a catalyst, a test case for how much sway Allen truly holds. In YouTube storytelling fashion, this is framed almost like a thriller, with late-night meetings, guarded conversations, and subtle power plays. The speculation suggests that Allen's comment may have been intentionally leaked, or at least allowed to circulate, as a way to apply pressure without making a public spectacle. Whether that is true or not, the rumor thrives because it fits into a broader narrative of modern athletes understanding their leverage. It paints Allen as savvy, aware that his value extends beyond stats and highlights, reaching into branding, ticket sales, and the emotional connection fans feel. This part of the story leans heavily into intrigue, suggesting that what fans hear is only a fraction of what is actually being discussed in private. Another speculative layer explores how teammates might be reacting to this rumored stance, imagining a locker room filled with quiet conversations and unspoken questions. In this imagined scenario, players look to Allen not just for leadership on the field, but for cues on how to interpret the uncertainty swirling around them. Some might feel reassured, seeing his willingness to stand up for what he believes in as a sign of strong leadership. Others might feel uneasy, worried about instability and what it could mean for their own futures. In a YouTube narrative tone, this becomes a story about ripple effects, how one statement can subtly alter the emotional climate of an entire organization. The rumor suggests that Allen's influence is such that even speculation about his displeasure can shift how players and coaches approach their daily routines. It raises questions about unity and trust, about whether everyone is still pulling in the same direction. The unnamed potential arrival is again portrayed less as an individual and more as a symbol, representing change that not everyone is ready to embrace. This imagined tension adds depth to the rumor, making it feel like a living, breathing situation rather than a static headline. From another angle, the speculation dives into the psychological side of Josh Allen himself, imagining what would drive a competitor of his caliber to draw such a hard line. In this narrative, Allen is seen as deeply invested in his legacy, aware that quarterbacks are often judged not just by talent, but by stability and leadership. The rumor paints him as someone who believes that chemistry and trust cannot be easily replaced, and that certain personalities or philosophies could disrupt the delicate balance required to succeed. In YouTube commentary style, this is framed as a moment of self-awareness, where Allen recognizes both his power and his vulnerability. By allegedly stating that he would leave if the situation changes in a way he dislikes, he is acknowledging that even stars have limits. This part of the story resonates because it humanizes him, presenting a leader who is passionate and protective rather than arrogant. The speculation does not claim to know his true intentions, but it builds a narrative where his words are driven by conviction rather than impulse. That framing makes the rumor feel less scandalous and more like a glimpse into the mindset of a franchise cornerstone. Before we dive back in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest Buffalo Bills updates straight to your screen. And hey, don't hold back. Let us know your thoughts on today's news down in the comments. The broader league context also becomes part of the rumor mill, with commentators imagining how other teams would react if Allen's dissatisfaction became more than just whispers. In this speculative world, rival franchises are always listening, always alert for cracks in even the strongest organizations. The idea that Allen might consider leaving, even hypothetically, is portrayed as the kind of information that sends shockwaves through front offices everywhere. In a YouTube storytelling style, this is where the narrative expands, suggesting that the Bills' internal debate is happening under the watchful eyes of the entire league. The rumored statement becomes a signal, intentionally or not, that Allen knows his options and is not afraid to acknowledge them. This adds another layer of tension, because it implies that the Bills are not just making decisions in a vacuum, but in a competitive ecosystem where perception matters. The speculation thrives on these imagined domino effects, making the story feel bigger than one team or one player, and turning it into a commentary on power, loyalty, and strategy at the highest level. As the second part of this speculative saga continues, the fan perspective once again takes center stage, with imagined reactions ranging from anxiety to defiant optimism. In this narrative, supporters dissect every word of the rumored quote, debating tone, intent, and context as if they were analyzing game film. Some cling to the belief that this is simply smoke, a misinterpreted comment blown out of proportion. Others see it as a necessary wake-up call, proof that even successful teams must constantly reassess their direction. In YouTube narration, this emotional roller coaster is highlighted as part of the modern fan experience, where rumors travel faster than facts and speculation often fills the gaps. The story thrives because it invites personal interpretation, allowing each listener or viewer to project their own fears and hopes onto the situation. The rumored ultimatum becomes a mirror, reflecting what fans value most, whether that is stability, ambition, or loyalty to a star player. This collective reaction feeds back into the narrative, amplifying its impact and ensuring that it remains a dominant topic of conversation. By the end of this imagined second act, the rumor stands not as a clear statement of fact, but as a powerful piece of storytelling that captures the essence of uncertainty in professional sports. Josh Allen's alleged words linger as a symbol of a franchise at a crossroads, a moment where choices feel heavier and consequences more far-reaching. In a YouTube style of delivery, this is framed as an open-ended chapter, one that invites continued speculation rather than definitive answers. The story does not claim to know whether Allen would truly leave or whether the controversial arrival will ever happen. Instead, it thrives on the tension between possibility and reality. This ambiguity is what keeps viewers engaged, replaying the quote in their minds and debating its meaning long after the video ends. As a rumor, it does exactly what rumors are meant to do: spark conversation, provoke emotion, and turn the future into a canvas for imagination. That's a wrap for now. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of all things Buffalo Bills, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. We'd love to hear what you think in the comments. See you in the next update.